Hello and welcome back to my channel. I just finished an art challenge, 30 paintings in 30 days, and coming out of it, I am so glad that I did this challenge. I have really boosted my creativity, but also really boosted my confidence as well. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you why I did this art challenge and why I did it now as well, which includes a review of jelly gouache. And I'm also going to share some tips in case you want to take one on yourself. So as I go through my tips and learnings, I'm going to flip through my paintings. You're going to see in all their glory or lack of glory, all that I did. So first things first, why did I do this art challenge? So my sister-in-law actually got it kicked off for me. She found this Art Whale 42 color gouache paint set at one of those stores that sells like returns, from Amazon or wherever, and it was only a few dollars. And she gave it to me because she knows that I'm an artist and I'm always painting. And I've used gouache before, but never jelly gouache, which is super popular online. But here's the thing, jelly gouache has a couple drawbacks, we'll call it. It can grow mold if you leave it too long, and sometimes it's not light fast, meaning it can fade in the sunlight. So I figured I'm going to use this when I open it. I'm just going to use it really quickly. And that's when I finally decided to do 30 paintings in 30 days. So I painted everything in a sketchbook. And a sketchbook is handy if you're painting or using an art medium that you're not sure if it's light fast or not, because the papers will be closed or the book will be closed, so it can really help protect from fading. And I just set a goal to just create. I didn't worry about perfection. I wasn't worrying about selling anything. And by the end of these 30 days and 30 paintings, I saw real progress. I could tell my technique was improving. I felt way more comfortable switching between subjects. And I even discovered what I'm really good at and what I need to work on. So let's talk about why you would do a 30-day art challenge. So here's why. You can experiment freely. It doesn't matter how one painting turns out, because the next day you get a brand new painting to experiment with. You'll finally paint all those ideas or photos you've been saving forever. I know there is a ton that I know I have saved for years and just haven't gotten to, and then I finally did. It gives you a really nice creativity boost. You start each day fresh. You can try something new, whether it's a technique or subject, and you never know when you'll stumble upon something that really speaks to you as a subject. And it also builds a daily painting habit, and that's really important because the more you paint, the better you'll get at it. And if you paint every day, you're really going to improve. So if you've ever thought about doing a painting challenge, just do it. But let's be honest, it's easy to say, just do it, but it's harder to actually do it. So if you're thinking of doing your own challenge, here are some of my tips for making it work. Number one, and this is huge, plan ahead. So before you start, decide on your guidelines. I did not want to waste time each day deciding what to paint, so I made a schedule. The first 7 days would be still lifes. I ended up doing all food still lifes, but it could have been any sort of still life. 7 days of florals and plants. 7 days of landscapes, and then the last day is anything I wanted. And for me, it ended up being insects and birds. Choose your subjects early. So if you're painting from photos, which I mostly did, gather them into a folder before you even start. If you're painting from life, prep your objects or your flowers ahead of time. You might want to make a list of exactly what you're going to paint. It doesn't need to be, I will paint this on Tuesday and this on Wednesday. But, of those guidelines that you've given yourself, you will paint a rose and you will paint a peony, that sort of a thing. You do not want your biggest barrier to be, what should I paint today? You want to be able to just start painting. Stay flexible. I started this planning to experiment with color because this tray of gouache was filled with all sorts of beautiful colors. But the first painting I did, the gouache turned out way more opaque than expected. So I just shifted gears and focused more on form and composition and just painting what I wanted to paint. Paint small, because you're painting every day, so just paint small. I worked right in my sketchbook, taped off a little area each day. It was really manageable. It was stress-free. I didn't worry about it being exactly a square, or exactly the size of a rectangle. I just made the size work for the subject. Keep your setup ready. I kept all my supplies out in one spot so I could just sit down and paint. That way I didn't have any excuses. All I had to do, again, just sit down and paint. Don't expect to love every painting. Some days I was really proud. Other days, not so much. But it didn't matter because I knew the next day I'd start fresh. And don't stress if you miss a day. I fell behind really early on, work got busy during that first few days, but I caught up on the weekend. And if I had quit after missing a day, I would have missed out on so much growth and experience with these paintings. And in the end, I ended up finishing all 30 paintings in actually 28 days. And keep the momentum going. Now that I'm done, I'm just taking a short break to work on a few art projects for an upcoming event. Then I'll come back to the gouache and fill the rest of this sketchbook. Now let's talk about the paint itself for a second. This is Art Whale Jelly Gouache. Each cup, it's pretty big, 50 mils. It's thick, creamy paint. It's kind of like painting with pudding, but it's so easy to work with. So this set has 42 colors, includes some really nice neutrals, lots of different colors. The tray is sturdy, portable, though it is really heavy. I actually weighed it, and it's more than 8 pounds. And the paint is super opaque. You get great coverage in one layer. That's fantastic because you can just fly through paintings so much faster than using acrylics. It's water soluble, so you can reactivate it with some water, you can blend. It can dry a little bit between uses when you're painting every day. So I'd spritz the cups with water every day. It's still kind of dried out, but it doesn't really matter because it never molded. One odd thing, the rinse water started smelling a little swampy after a few days, but the paint itself never had an odor. It's also quite messy. I never once cleaned up any of the little paint cups, but of course, because I'd be, reaching for a new color of paint with my brush, you would get kind of other paint colors in your paint, and I just lived with that. So overall, I absolutely love this challenge. It really gave me a creativity boost as an artist. I was able to do all sorts of paintings that I'd hoped to do for a long time, but just never got around to doing it. It helped me see where maybe I wasn't as strong. So I really want to practice my florals a lot more, but also where maybe I've really stumbled onto something that I really like painting, which is the beetles. So I'm going to keep some of the momentum going, not just by finishing out the sketchbook, but working on different series for the paintings that I actually sell. And I really encourage you to do some sort of an art challenge if you're interested in painting and growing as an artist. And it doesn't have to be 30 paintings in 30 days. You could say to yourself, I'm going to do 7 paintings in 7 days. Just keep it, more manageable. Or you might say, I will do 2 paintings a week for the full year. Something like that, just something that really gives you momentum. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe so I can keep making more videos.